With this workflow, you can automatically scrape huge numbers of qualified leads directly from Google Maps. Simply pick the zip codes you want to target, choose the category of businesses you want information on, and watch as the scraper pulls this information from Google Maps and stores it neatly in a Google Sheet for later processing. So here we go. We've run through 3 different zip codes as well as several different business categories. I'll show you that in just a second. It's finishing it all up and we are done. Let's come over to our spreadsheet and we see that here in my spreadsheet, I have 60 different businesses from my various categories. And we can see over here that I've chosen 3 categories: tax preparer, dry cleaner, personal injury attorney, from 3 different zip codes. We have these 3 here in Las Vegas. And if we come over into our results, we see we have over here, we've got tax preparer, dry cleaner, and personal injury attorney. And as always, you can download this N8N workflow for free from my free school community, where we give away over 25 different business-focused workflows for free, with new free workflows coming out every week, along with tutorial videos, how-to setup guides, and a community of automation-focused business owners all looking to collaborate and grow their businesses with AI-powered automations. You can also join our advanced community for tech support assistance, marketing and business growth discussions, as well as getting to pick my brain on N8N, AI automation, or businesses in general. So let's go ahead and dive into this workflow and show you how it works. You'll notice that there's 3 main sections. The first section is the trigger, and I have it set to a scheduled trigger. You can set it to another trigger if you want, depending on how you use your workflows. I set mine to a 15-minute trigger. The reason for it is because if we come in here, I can set all kinds of different business categories. I can set all kinds of different zip codes. It doesn't just have to be your local ones. And what happens is it's going to run through them all 3 at a time. And I have that 15-minute trigger there because if you're running through the Google Maps, Google Places API too quickly, you're most likely going to get hit by a rate limit. And so I figured every 15 minutes, if it's going to check, it's going to run through 3 zip codes really quick. That's definitely enough time for it to be able to process and not worry about any rate limits. All right, so there's that. The next section is going to be a data prep, where we're getting the data ready to run through the Google Places API. And then we actually do Google Places call and get that information and put it into the spreadsheet. So let's just go ahead and continue, do step-by-step, show you how this thing works. In our second node here, I set some information. I'm setting my URL for my Google Sheet. So you'll be able to download a copy of the Google Sheet from the free school community as well. All you do is, once you've made your copy, stick your URL for it right into there, and you can leave the rest alone. We're making a field for the cat sheet, so the sheet with the categories, and we're making a field for the sheet with the zip codes. All right, and then from there, we go ahead and use a Google Sheets node. We're going to pull the information from the zips sheet. We're just pulling the zip codes themselves. We're going to go ahead and then filter them. And what we're doing is we're looking for the information here that says scraped, because the system will automatically put the word scraped in here once it has run through and looked at the zip code and gotten the data for the businesses for you. And so if we did another zip code, say 8901, we run this again, what we'll see is only 1 comes out because it's the only one that doesn't have any data. There we go. It's going to process it really quick. And it takes almost no time at all, as you can see. And again, it's running through my different business categories as well, not just the zip codes. You see that do it a couple times. And there, it's done. Let's go ahead and check it out. We see 88901 is scraped. We come over to our results. Previously, we had only had 61 lines of data. Now we're up to 80 lines of data. So it did find some additional, what looks like tax preparers and dry cleaners. Doesn't look like it found any new personal injury attorneys, or at least there weren't any personal injury attorneys that appeared under that zip code. All right, so from there, what we do is we're going to go ahead and split out the zip codes so that they're each an individual item. That's just a simple split based on zip. We're going to then limit the number that we're going to deal with at a time. So we're going to do it 3 here. And then we're going to loop through each of the zip codes. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab a Google Sheet again. We're going to pull the category, in this case, from the Google Maps category. It's going to pull the tax preparer, dry cleaner, and personal injury attorney for each zip code. It's going to check to make sure that you haven't added some sort of status like ignore or not ready yet. If there's anything in this field here, it's not going to search for those types of businesses for you. All right, and so I did that just as in case you weren't ready, you just wanted to add these for idea purposes. You're just going to write something in this column here, and it will ignore those categories of businesses. So, but it filters through them, just filtering based on that status category, as you can see. It's then going to set the field of category with the category that we pulled from our Google Sheet. You'll see I got my 3 items: tax preparer, dry cleaner, and personal injury attorney. All right, what it then does, it's going to loop through each of those items in turn. So in this case, we're looping through the categories under each zip code. Just a simple loop through of one at a time. There we go. And it looks like only 2 items went through, even though 3 were here. That is fascinating. I don't know why it did that. But again, we're going to set our zip code just because we want to make sure that the information is pulled to the top. We're going to then do our Google Places API call. All right. And so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this one. I'm going to show you what it looks like because I don't want to show off my API key to everybody here. So what we're going to do is you're going to have a HTTP node, and you can grab that from up here. Not that you would need to grab it, it's already here. But HTTP node, we're going to do a post method. The URL is this https://places.googleapis.com/v1/places:search, that's lowercase search, capital T text, right? Search text with a capital T. We're going to use our authentication method of a predefined credential type, choosing a Google OAuth 2 API, which I'll show you in just a second. And we're going to set up a Google Places API as well. All right. And then as far as the remaining variables for this HTTP node, what you're going to do is send headers using fields below. First header you're going to send is this one. It's called x-goog, capital G-O-O-G dash field mask, field and mask being capitalized, F and M. And then you're going to have all this information in here. I would just leave this. This is as much information as you're really able to pull from Google Maps without getting too deep into worrying about rate limits. So I'm pulling the place's ID, the place's display name, the address, the components, the formatted address, the primary business type, all kinds of information, the location, their phone number, their reviews, their summary. I'm just pulling as much information as I can from Google Maps. And then also you want to make sure you're sending a field named key with your API key. And I'm going to show you that in a minute because that's not the same as your Google Places OAuth 2 API that you're going to need. All right. But then we're also going to send a body, a JSON type, body content type. All right, using the fields below, and we're going to do text query. So that's T-E-X-T, and then capital Q query. And what we're doing is we're grabbing the categories from before as well as the zip. And this right here is our actual search. So what we're doing is we're searching for like dry cleaners 889146, as that would be the search that it's actually performing. And then it's going to pull that data from Google Maps and give it to us. And then we also want to make sure we have additional options, include response headers and status, turn that on. Never error, turn that off. And response format, make that auto detect. All right, now let's talk about the OAuth 2 as well as the API key. So you will find that in your Google Cloud Console account. All right, and so what you do for your OAuth 2, you simply click Create Credentials, OAuth Client ID. You're going to go ahead and create an application type, Web Application, and then you just go ahead and name that something like Google Maps as an example. You're going to set an authorized redirect URI. So let's come up here back again. So what we do is under the Google OAuth 2, if you want to create your credential, just drop down, create new credential. You're going to grab this OAuth redirect, put it in here. You come down to authorized redirect, add this in here, just like that. Hit create. It's going to give you a client ID and a client secret. And of course, I'm going to delete this immediately as soon as this video is done. So don't worry about trying to copy it. It's going to be gone. Simply copy that, paste this into client ID, come over to client secret, copy that, paste this into client secret. And then there's one other thing you do need to know. I'm going to go ahead and check out My actual credential, we're going to grab the scope. The scope is www.googleapis.com/auth/cloud-platform. So we just grab that, paste this in here, sign in. It says it's created, but we're going to sign into a Google account that you're tied into. You're going to give it permission. And there, now we're connected properly, and this will run, right? And again, I'm going to delete this as soon as we're done, but we're not quite done yet because you also need an additional API key. So what we do is we come and create credential, API key, give it a second to load. All right, it's created me an API key just like that. Copy that. All right, and then what you would do is you're going to come down to where it says key, you paste in the key, and then you are good to go. All right, and then what I would do, obviously, I would come in here, I would rename it, edit this, rename such as Google Maps. I'll name it extra numbers. And generally, don't restrict your key because you're going to need this to be able to do what you need it to. If you're worried about data security, find a way to restrict it. I don't understand that part. I'm just going to delete this API and no one's ever going to see it again. So that is how you set up the Google Maps API HTTP node here so that it's going to be able to process properly. So then we come back out. What we're going to see is that after it pulls the information, it's going to check if the data field is empty. So if the body of the call is empty, meaning there was nothing returned, then if there's nothing returned, it's just going to loop back to the loop and go to the next category under the zip code. If it does pull the information, then we're going to put all of that data into an array using this code node. All right, and this again, it's all available on my free school community. You don't have to worry about copying this. You're free to copy it if you want. Go ahead and pause the video, but it's fully available for free. Just go ahead and copy that. There you go. All right, and just takes all that data, it puts it into an array. That way it can be put into Google Sheets. We're going to go ahead and set a field called the places ID. We do that just for being able to classify this information and put it where it needs to be. We then remove any duplicates using a remove duplicates field. What we're searching for is places ID, and we're comparing it to places ID. So it's just looking for any duplicates in there and removing those out. We then go back to our Google Sheets. All right, and in this node, we are going to our results tab. So that is this tab over here where our data lives, and it's going to put it all in under the places ID column. So we see that here. So it's going to our Google Sheet. It's looking for the tab called results. It's looking for the column places ID. It's matching the places ID here. Now, again, this is an update or append. So if for some reason you had this places ID already and you just needed additional information, or if you wanted to do a different type of call using your Google Maps or Google Places API node, it will update the row as well. But since there's no information in there when you're first starting, it is just going to go ahead and append these rows using the places ID as the first column. It then goes ahead and puts in the title, it puts in their phone number, their website if they have one. They don't always have one. All right, and let's double check. I didn't screw this up because sometimes they don't have it. Let's double check that I did get websites. It gave me my websites. I don't have to worry about it not having done that. All right, let's come back here. And it's also going to put in their rating, their reviews, the type of business, their address, their GPS coordinates, their types. Sometimes they'll have some of their various social medias. So if you want to add those in, if you're able to pull it from Google Places, go right ahead. All you do is just do a json.place. Whatever it would show up as in here. And you can find that data just by coming over to your schema. If you find it, you just grab it and drag it over. So let's see if we can't find any of those social medias. I don't think they're in here, but we'll search really quick for you. You see, you get lots of results. No, I'm not seeing any. So they're not pulling it. Could be because it's just not there in Google Places. It could be because I didn't look for it. Either way, it's going to update the Google Sheets with the results. It's then going to go ahead and get the status again of the zip code sheet tab. And it's going to go ahead and take that zip code and it's going to then mark it as scraped. all right, using this node here. Now you'll notice all this extra stuff over here. This is simply an exponential backoff loop. So what happens is as you're going through and you're updating your Google Sheets, maybe you're hitting a Google Sheets rate limit. For some reason, I seem to find that I hit Google Sheets rate limits and Gmail rate limits all the time. So having an exponential backoff allows you to, if it errors because for some reason you've hit a rate limit, it's going to algorithmically determine how long it should wait. It's going to then tell this wait node to wait that long, and then it's going to try again. And if it, for some reason, hits that rate limit again, it's then going to increase the wait time by an amount. It's then going to wait that amount, and then it's going to try again. And then if it does it again, and it's going to loop through this up to 5 times. And if it's gone 5 times and it still hasn't been able to process that data, it will error out and let you know that you've hit your Google Sheets API limit and that this needs to stop. That way you know that something has gone wrong. Maybe you need to wait a day in order to process again. But again, if you're only doing about every 15 minutes, if you're only doing 3 zip codes at a time, as long as you're not doing like 20 business categories at a time, you really shouldn't have to worry about ever hitting the Google Sheets rate limit. And so that's it. And as you can see, this Google Maps scraper allows you to quickly and effortlessly pull countless legitimate businesses that are verified on Google to start building your prospecting list. And when paired with the website email scraper that we have in another video that's linked in the description below, you'll be able to fill up your marketing list to reach out to potential customers for your products and services faster than ever before. Now, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video because it really does help us get this content out there for those who need it. Also, make sure to click the link in the description below to download today's workflow for free from my free school community. As always, I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together. I'll see you inside.